There we go.
Cool.
When it says on the air, you're on the air, okay?
Awesome. There it is.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mick's World with my special guest, John Renna. He's a actor, entertainer, and film producer and director. Am I close? Did I hit that?
Do some special effects in there, and basically a filmmaker.
I did put that in. I put on tonight's show, Mick's guest, John Renna, a local movie maker, actor, and special effects artist.
Nice. There you go.
I got bored and I was starting to just type.
Start typing away.
Okay, so like usual, guys, I'm open to comments. You can call in. The number is 716-400-0738. And believe me, it's taken me a long time to memorize that.
Smartphones make us dumb. Remember when we were kids, you'd hear a phone number once and you'd know it forever.
Yeah.
Now it's like, what's my own number again? Oh, yeah.
So to start out, we're going to be talking about John's latest movie, Humbug.
Ooh.
And you can fill in the nice, lovely viewers about what Humbug is.
For sure. Well, it all started around the time of the pandemic. It was right before the pandemic, and I kind of had an idea, and I thought it would be pretty cool, and I was putting some stuff together, and I put out a blast on the social media, and I was like, does anybody want to help with this project? And Jason John Beebe said that he was
him in a long time.
Yeah, right. Said that he was interested. So he kind of came around and we shot some stuff, and I said, this is pretty cool, the stuff that we did. Maybe we should think about trying to turn this into a feature. And then the pandemic and there was it was hard to shoot anything and get people together, and we didn't have access to cameras and stuff really, so we were using. Jason had a 4K Sony, kind of like an over the counter camera with little interchangeable lenses and stuff, and it was a pretty solid little camera.
Yeah.
And I have a series of GoPros, and basically the idea was what if there's like a creepy crawly like a bug, right? But it infests you and it lays eggs inside of you, right? And it starts attacking your brain, and everything is just to protect what's going on inside of your body, right? So you're a creature of instinct at this point. You're no longer yourself. You hear this buzzing and humming and buzzing and humming and humming and humming in your head. It's driving you crazy, right? And there is, of course, right? There is this bug in his head eating his brain, and he's just walking around, and he has to stay warm. He has to feed. He has to do certain things to kind of keep himself going long enough that his cargo can reach maturity and hatch, right? So I just thought it would be so creepy to have a bug that could just basically enter your head and take over the reins, right? And it touches on zombie aspects because it's like a mindless killer kind of a scenario. It touches on body horror. It touches on all kinds of gross topics, right? So the main story arc is this guy gets bit by a bug and turned into a walking incubation chamber. And it's the wintertime. He needs to stay warm. So when he sees a guy dressed in a warm-looking Santa suit, he goes over and takes the suit, not realizing that the guy had a camera in the hat that was meant to surprise his daughter. So from this moment on in the movie, the humbug goes around killing everyone in like a first-person shooter style with a mounted camera on his head.
I love that.
So it is kind of a mismatch of a bunch of stuff that you don't normally see together. It's some comedy mixed in there. It's some action mixed in there. There's the body horror. There's the insect horror. There's slimes, and there's gross out sections, and it's just a ton of different stuff that you get to chew on for this film. it's fun, and it turned out looking, halfway decent. It was just Jason and I shooting. Jason did most of the camera work. He was like the cinematographer, and he really paid attention to detail, and I did the best I could, and we were really choosy with the shots that we used. So the film looks really, really good, considering it was in the dead center of a pandemic, and we had nothing, to really work with. We had no real infrastructure. Our crew was basically between 2 and 4 people. A lot of times the people that were acting were helping us with the crew positions and everything. It would be a lot of us, just working together as a team. Who also helped a lot was Adrian Esposito and Kurt Markham. Shout out, guys. They were awesome. They helped out so much. And one thing about this movie is it's very experimental. Jason and I decided that with this whole scenario, the pandemic and everything, we had to think outside the box and do something totally different. And I have a big background with improv. I do a lot of role-playing games, and I do a lot of D&D, and I do a lot of that kind of stuff. I've always watched improv and been a fan as a child. Howie Mandel's one of my favorite comedians.
Yeah, I gotta show you a picture when we're done here.
Oh, okay, awesome.
You're gonna love this because literally, it's my the dice collection that I have.
Oh, okay, yeah, gotta see it.
And
I love it.
I'll put it this way: I went to a yard sale and I got an old wicker like treasure chest.
Oh, that's awesome.
Hang on a second. Maybe I can find it on here.
Bring it up real quick. Yeah. Well, while you're doing that, the movie is. Oh, that's awesome. You're not playing around. You have it all neat and organized.
I still have more in my D&D bag.
I have huge sacks of dice, and then I have like some that are exploded all over the house and stuff. I'm a total ADD freak.
That took me because what happened was I bought those. I bought like two 140. Yeah, I think it was like 240 piece sets from Amazon. They came in a big black bag, and I've just
painstakingly went through and put them together,
They were already in sets. I just went and put them in those little plastic bags. You see the little boxes that you buy when you go to the store. And then I like I said, I go to Anime North, and there's a guy who up there, they dress him up as a kobold. You give him so much money, and he gives you a token, and they let you make a scoop out of a kiddie pool full of random dice.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I have dice that are actually up on, I think it's one of the sale sites that are up for sale. I call them my chaos sets because they're not, you know how regular D&D dice are all one color, and everything. These are just chaotic all through everything.
That's awesome. It's
funny, I haven't gotten any.
I love all the dice. I love all of the I love all the different games too. Depending on what you're playing, like I'm a total improv nerd. So I decided that it would be really cool to bring that to this film. So there's no script. There's not 100 and. There's not 100 pages somewhere lying around and wound up with the story written down when we had to edit. We had to edit at the seat of our pants. We made the story up as we went along, and once we got to the right point, we started filling in gaps and doing more specific things, and everything came together really well. We were surprised because there's always been this ongoing joke where it's like there's a script, there's a script. Where is
there a script?
Yeah, and this time around. It wasn't a joke. There's a script. No. Oh, okay. So it took a lot of really, really cool improvisation from Adrian and from Kurt and from everybody. I mean, we have a pretty Western New York studded cast here. We have a lot of Western New York regulars, a lot of other film producers, and a lot of other people that are kind of. Somewhere along the line had something to do with this little thing. And another thing, too, it's my first time really announcing it publicly and really focusing on it. The music in this thing is awesome. I have a local musician who worked on it with me, who's worked on a lot of my films, Dan, and his group is Different Planets. They perform all over Buffalo. He's like an artist. He does these stage performances. He is outstanding, and he can basically do anything. And I asked him when things first started. It wasn't a joke. There's a script? No. Oh,
I brought it up on the big screen. That's
okay. Yeah.
Feedback came up.
Okay, yeah. So I just, I asked him when things first started. I said this is like kind of a 80s Little Rubber Monster movie kind of a thing. It's Christmassy, but it needs a title track. It needs one of those things where we talk about the title of the movie in the song. It needs to happen, and I would love if he did it. He immediately jumped on it, and one of the first things that we got is the Humbug title track. It's outstanding. It really brings the movie together. It's just great. And then the guy who did most of the soundtrack for me is my buddy Jim Taylor, and he is actually part of the group signed from Imagine Records. They're called Lenny, Lenne, and they are a really cool metal group. And Jim put all the songs together for the entire soundtrack, and then Lenny gave us this really, really awesome track to feature in the movie. So we have a completely original soundtrack of all awesome songs, including our own rendition with the Humbug Carolers of Silent Night.
Hang on one second.
Yeah.
Hey, somebody's here, Nick, actually, where I just see your comment, and like usual, you're only going to show up on the Think Twice thing, but welcome. Actually, welcome to the show. It's been a couple weeks since I've done a show, and I've seen you because I've been doing other ventures and fun stuff. But just so you got an idea, Nick, the gentleman across from me is John Renna. He's a movie producer, director, actor, and special effects artist. He's talking about his new movie, Humbug, that he is going to be debuting next week?
December 12th, yep.
December 12th. He'll be putting it out for the world to see.
Yep, December 12th at the Screening Room in Amherst, New York. It's going to be a 6:30 show and an 8:30 show. It's a test screening, and the cast and crew is coming to see it. And basically,
are they going to be having tickets for people to get in?
Yep, there's tickets for people to get in and see it, because what we want to do is we want everybody to kind of absorb the movie, tell us what they think, and if there's any things that they think need a little tweak here, a tweak there, we're going to do that before we start ready for submissions to festivals and things like that. And I had the name Humbug in mind for a long time because I'm like a big Scrooge fan and a big Christmas Carol fan. I love all that stuff. So the title really, I wanted that. I wanted that in there. So on purpose, I felt like it was a catchy title. And I've already had some people contacting me kind of interested in helping me take it to the next level with sales and things like that. So it seems like I was right, and people are finding the title to be pretty catchy. So it's just I'm really excited to be able to share it with everybody, because with editing I've had to watch it like 100,000 times. So I want other people to watch it and make sure that my brain didn't go numb while I edited and watched and edited and watched and edited and watched.
My favorite Scottish actors are Dave Tennant and
Ewan McGregor. Yeah.
Oh, that's how that's pronounced.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't want to hack it up and just like.
I like David Tennant. David Tennant's awesome.
But my question is, what other projects have you been working on?
Yes. Well, we just had the world premiere of Unbelievable, where I play one of the extended family members. I'm like a best friend of the Rubinsky family, and they've kind of taken me under their wing as like a kind of family member. I'm known far and wide for making outrageously good beef on weck, and my character has some health issues, and in order to watch the game, they got me a big piece of machinery so I could be there even though I'm not in the best of health, and it comes into play during the script in some funny ways. It's
And who actually directed that?
yes, that was where I was coming next, actually. There is Garrett and Scott, and they co-directed the film. Garrett is one of the guys who started when the Pierce Aero Building was doing a lot of work with film. Garrett was the guy who kind of was heading a lot of things over there, and he and I got pretty close when he let me use the location for Dick Johnson and Tommy Gun versus the Cannibal Cop, and
I'm gonna have to check that out.
he gave us the keys to the kingdom and helped so much, and he was like an unsung hero on Dick and Tommy Gun. And in the process of that, I met Scott too, and they wanted me to have a bigger part in the film that they did previously, Rainbow Bridge, but I had like this crazy mullet, and my look was completely wrong, and I had to finish my film and stuff, so I couldn't change my look. And then I said, I promise that the next time you guys do a movie, I'm in. No matter what it is, I'm in. Contact me. I'm in. So I got a phone call. Hey, John, you know who this is? It's Garrett. We're going to shoot this movie. So it's directed by them, and it's written by Scott. And Scott is the longest-running editor-in-chief of National Lampoon magazine, and he is like a comedy icon. Like when I was a kid, I would see these books with these bright colored covers and funny topics, and I was drawn to them even though they were highly inappropriate. And Scott's one of the guys who helped develop these.
It sounds like almost like the comic book that I see at some of the conventions. There's a gentleman who sells pictures, and he's made a comic book that's banned in Texas.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Scott is like, he made all of these stories. He edited all of these little novellas and things like that from National Lampoon. So when you look at National Lampoon, all their little books and all their little releases, you'll see Scott's name popping up everywhere. He's first off, he's a great guy, and secondly, he's like a comedy mastermind. So I really loved getting to work on Unbelievable with him and getting to riff back and forth and do comedy bits together and stuff. Super funny movie. Everybody has to check it out. We're trying to figure out a second showing because people are hungry for it. So we're working on it now.
Isn't the Unbelievable? Isn't that about the Bills?
It is not about
Bills fans. I'm sorry.
Exactly. See,
I knew what I was talking about, but it's my brain went.
Unlike other movies that are like sports related, right? They're normally what's it called? They're normally like focusing on the team. Like this guy runs this far, that catches the ball, all the great stuff that happens on the field. You know what I mean? That's a lot of fun. I love great sports movies. They're super dramatic. I love every minute of them. But this time they said, what if we focus on the fans? How crazy fans can be, how insane fans can be, and they're Buffalonians, they're Buffalo Bills fans. And what crazier fans are there than the Bills Mafia? I mean, come on, we're crazy. Me and my boy, my friends will get dressed up in our little outfits and go running through the snow. It doesn't matter if it's minus 1,000,000 degrees and it's a blizzard. We're standing out there having a few drinks and partying and having some fun, screaming, people jumping through tables. I mean, we're crazy. were very passionate, and that's what they wanted to encapsulate. And unbelievable was how passionate the fans are, how crazy being a Bills fan is, how stressful it is, and that was something that I thought they really encapsulate. It's like the cameras are on the family and what the family's going through just being a fan of the sport. I thought that was really
what I
cool.
think would be an actual cool to that was well, we all know the Bills season is neither here nor there right now.
Yeah, we're not sure.
And I would love to see somebody go actually film like somebody sitting down watching the game and I call it the 4 stages of craziness.
Yeah.
There's the stage of, oh yeah, the Bills are going to do good, and then they start getting their asses handed to them. And then all of a sudden they come back and like you could just film just a 4-minute piece on the last 4 or 5 minutes of the game and get like a range of 5,000 emotions.
And I'm telling you that I think that was what they were thinking with this because that's exactly what they decided to do. They had, dramatic ups and downs and everything like it. So funny, like where I don't want to give anything away. I want people to see it, but it's just like I felt like I was at like having fun at a family's house. That's what it felt like. It really felt like when I watched the Super Bowl at my grandparents' house, Bills Giants. Like it has that same feeling. It's really cool, but at the same moment, it's got this really zany, really crazy, out of this world sense of humor, and I mean, it's just totally nuts.
Like, here's an example. We talked about this at my veterans group. They're talking. I made the comment that it's kind of strange that last year we had that football game where it had to end because the guy had a heart attack on the field.
Yeah.
And then if you look at it, they said, "Oh, we're not that game ended as a draw or it never happened." But then you look at the playoffs and what happened? It was back to Buffalo versus Cincinnati.
Yeah.
It's like, how the hell did that get there? And I've heard was in the movie Robots, a movie by the Blue Sky Animation. Sorry, I lost track of what we're talking about. Like I said, I made the conversation to me was, it's like, isn't it funny that they called that game because of a heart attack, but then all of a sudden in the playoffs they played that game.
Yeah. It's when that happened, I was just like, I'm gonna let other people think about it. I did. It's just like it's that Bills Mafia thing. It's like everybody has their own reaction, right? So some people are the ones that want to flip the table and go, "Gah!" and other people are the ones that are just like like mad, arguing this that they get all upset. Me, I'm a 1 second Picard style face palm onto the next thing, like a don't even bug me with it. You know what I mean? Like I
but it's just it was kind of funny just seeing it like that because they said that they weren't going to play the game.
Everybody was safe and everybody came out and nobody had any real lasting injuries and stuff like that. That's all. That's all that matters.
Like we made the comment today.
He said sort of because.
Yeah, we made the comment today that nobody's really seen the guy who had the heart attack play a lot this year.
Yeah.
And it's like, are they worried about it happening again?
Yeah,
I
don't know much about his health situation at all, and it's like you don't know what's going to happen, especially when they're doing football. I played football for Maryvale high school. I really enjoyed it. The the camaraderie and really seeing what it takes on the field, running plays, and all the stuff you have to remember, and I could see how some of these young kids are getting so stressed out that they might have something happen where they have a heart problem, something like that. It's hard to imagine what it could be. But then there's all that talk about COVID having lasting heart problems and this and that and blah blah blah. So
but then we also have to look at it in the fact that they took so many precautions. And honestly, they did. They took so many precautions to make sure that these football players were in good health. It's like I associated with the independent wrestling, and before our guys could even get close to the ring, they had to have their blood pressure taken and their vitals checked by the doc. And there's a lot of things that I can see that have grown up. But getting off the football, getting back to my next question, what other films have you been in or directed or created?
Oh yeah, sure. Well, I've been involved in quite a few films of varying sizes. So it all depends on the budget level. If it's like an independent film, like an ultra low budget film, I've done a ton of those, a lot of local stuff, Johnny Gruesome, and obviously my film Dick and Tommy Gun, and there's so many that they start to blur together in my ADD brain when I try to think of them all. There was one I did that was really fun. It was called The Alcoholist. It was produced by Italian producers and an Italian director, and it was my first time working on an Italian set, and I'd heard about how like the old Italian horror films went and stuff like that.
I'm trying to think.
I didn't realize that it's like a universal thing for all of the Italian filmmakers. That what they do is they bring people in to be in the movie, and whatever your languages that you speak, that's the script you get, that's the script that you learn. And then I found out on set with a camera rolling that everybody speaks their own language. And I was on set with people from like 4 different countries. So I sat down, and the person sitting across from me is an Italian beauty queen, one of beautiful, beautiful woman, and so lovely and so nice. And she grabbed my hand, and I looked at her, and it's a very dramatic thing, and she delivers the entire thing in Italian. And I have one microsecond where I go, wait, she said that in Italian. Oh my God, the cameras are rolling. I need to do this right now. I need to say my lines. Go. Boom. And I go into a monologue about somebody giving me myself a cherry enema.
Wasn't that the movie was that the movie that Frank and Sherry were in?
I think Frank and Sherry were in that one too. Yeah. Yes, they were. They were in the scene with me. If I remember correctly.
Okay, never mind. That was the one that I was pissed off at Frank.
Oh,
I told them that because I saw, clips of it, and I was pissed off because of the, I come from a alcoholic family. Let's be honest. Yeah, and I saw the way he was treating Sherry, and I had to put it through my brain. This is just acting. This is just a movie, but it kind of. For a while there, it pissed me off.
Yeah, it got in there. See, and that's the thing. Frank's a really, really powerful actor, and he doesn't have to say a lot of things when he performs. I have a movie that is the next thing that I'm getting done. It's been on the shelf for a long time. We shot it years ago, and my partner in crime, Alex, he had a bunch of different stuff going on, and it kind of got shelved. We couldn't get the post-production going on it. He's had a bunch of different things happen. He's had kids. His mom passed away. Like, all different stuff has happened where it's kind of been like excuse city for us why we haven't got it done. And now it's at the point where I have my whole editing system set up, so it's the next thing that we're editing. And I can't wait to show people because Frank and Sherry do multiple parts in the film. They do multiple things in the film. They are they're really good. They're really funny. They have great timing, and it's just it's something that I wanted to release. It's called Summer Camp Party. I've wanted to release this thing for years and years and years, and it just has been on the shelf. It's my albatross hanging around my neck.
Weren't you? I'm sure I'm either maybe I'm confused or not, but weren't you in the Newcomb Highs?
Yep, I was in both of the Newcomb Highs as the concerned factory worker.
Now my other question was, were you in Poultrygeist?
I wasn't in Poultrygeist. What happened was at the time, there was another project that was in town, and Poultrygeist was in town, and the other project, it was like my job at the time, and I was trying to get in on Poultrygeist to give them a hand here or there if I could, but I couldn't clear my schedule out. So I wasn't able to get on Poultrygeist, and I was really upset about it because I'm a big Lloyd Kaufman and Troma fan.
I've met him.
Massive, right?
I will tell you. I was with Frank and Sherry. We went to I think it was the Elmira, a convention in Elmira, and our table was here, and Troma Films was right next to us, and I was doing, I take pictures, and I have a portable printer, so I was printing out pictures, and I gave Lloyd a couple pictures, and he got one of the Poultrygeist movies. He took the sleeve out and he
signed it for you.
He signed it for me, and
He's
then
such a great guy, Lloyd.
When we were leaving, they were hugging up each other, and he goes, "Well, give me a hug." I gave him a hug, and he's like, and his comment was, because I hugged him really hard, and he goes, "Oh, that gave me a hard on." I'm like,
Listen,
but then I have to realize that that's his kind of
First time I met Lloyd, it was when I picked him up at the airport for Slime City Massacre when I worked with Greg. That was one of my first films where I had like kind of a bigger position. I was I was like the production manager, and I was one of the actors, and I did special effects and helped design the cannibals and did all this stuff on there, and that was like my first yeah.
And the funny part is I realized I had to ask somebody about it. But I was watching Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
And I was watching Guardians of the Galaxy, the prison scene. And I'm watching, they're panning through all the prisoners up on the upper balcony or whatever. And then I realized Lloyd's in that one. And I'm like,
yeah. He's James Gunn was Troma. That's where he got his start. Was Troma movies, Romeo and Juliet with Debbie Rochon. So I'm actually like 1 degree of separation from all these guys, but it's like there's so much. Like, I'm a huge fan of Lloyd and everything, and I just basically when Newcomb High came around, I went and I got in contact with everybody, and I went down and I talked with everyone, and they were like excited to see me because they knew of Slime City Massacre and watched it because of its New York City connections and stuff, and knew me as the mayor. And I was like, this is hilarious because I'm starstruck with you guys because you guys are Troma. And the first movies I ever rented when I was a kid was a double feature. It was Toxic. It was Toxic Avenger and Sergeant Kabuki Man, NYPD. It was like my 2 first video rentals. So I'm an old school Troma fan. When I was a little kid, I was picking out Troma films. My family thought I was crazy, So it was my bucket list to do lines with Lloyd. I was in a movie with Lloyd. I did this with Lloyd, but I wanted to directly do lines with Lloyd, and somebody knew that, so they offered me the concerned factory worker. Because I asked Lloyd about the plastic taco mix food stuff. I know the plastic taco mix food stuff, boss. And so I did like this whole thing with him, and I did lines directly with them, and did like the like the evil laugh afterwards and stuff. And it was just like, consider that bucket list checked. And I was like, have a good day, guys, and went back a couple of times and helped out when I could. But it was just a lot of fun working with those guys. They're absolutely crazy, but they're a lot of fun, and they are some serious filmmakers. They like to get the job done. Lloyd is the nicest guy you'll ever get yelled at by. He's like He's like a really
The nicest guy you ever get yelled
Yeah,
at by.
yeah. He's no nonsense. He's got to move. He's got to go. There's a budget to stick to and time restraints. We got to move. We got to go. But he's a nice guy. I love when I get a chance to see him. And his wife Pat is the greatest. I love Pat. She's so lovely. His whole family's great. But yeah, love those guys. Yeah, man.
I've done different. Like I said, I've seen different movies and stuff, and I just a lot. Like I said, I have that signed copy of Poltergeist. I watched that, and I'm like, something's not right here.
It's so funny. There's a lot of really funny stories. Sam Qualiana was on that one. And I remember him talking about it a lot. There's a lot of really funny stories about it, and funny stuff that happened on the set of that Poltergeist, like really weird stuff.
And it's like I deal with a world of different things. I'm doing like cons. I was doing cons. I was doing the zombie stuff. I was doing superhero stuff. And I tell everybody straight up, I have no set loyalty. I will do if, like, say, for example, you called me and said, hey, I've got a convention that I'm going to be doing. Can you come shoot pictures for it? I'd be, yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the same way. I don't like to, there's people that like working with me and they contact me and I work with them a lot, but that's not because I don't like working with other people. And I think that a lot of people might have heard that I expect to to be paid for this and that, and some people might have sent out their vibes that John Renna is expensive or this or that, and it's like I work with students. I help people.
You got to raise your mic up a little bit. Keep it in your.
Yeah, I work with students. I help people. I help people all the time. You know what I mean? Somebody comes to me and they're like, I have a small budget, but it looks like things are going to be handled well and things are going to be put together well and things are going to go well. I love helping people with their low budget stuff. That's where I come from, and people help me make low budget stuff all the time. So I don't want people to think that there's no way they could possibly contact me because it's just too much money. It's too much money. As long as people understand that special effects components are expensive and stuff like that. Otherwise I'm always happy to help students and help the younger generations start to learn about
the biggest
things,
thing I've seen in the independent film community is that, honestly, and it's kind of weird because I've noticed this last Buffalo Fantastic Film Festival, because there was a movie that was shown there that was shot down by in the area I live at the Railroad Museum, and you don't know that these things are going on because you really don't see huge productions.
Yeah.
But then you also listen to, for example, I sat there and I listened to Mayor Byron Brown going, well, we're going to be getting, we're Buffalo. You can bring your movies to us and we'll let you film in our city. And I'm like, I've never seen in my life a mayor, and I'm going to be dead serious honest when I say this. I've never seen a mayor so committed to trying to help the little people.
Byron's always been there and done a lot of stuff for the film community. His son too. I've worked with Byron multiple times, but his dad, he'll come visit a set for a movie that's got a large budget with an out of town director, and he'll say, hey, how's it going? Hope things are going well. Have a good one. And then you'll see Byron come on to when we shot Gruesome. Hey, is everything going well? You know what I mean? He'll poke his head in here and there, and he'll stop by different movie sets. And just see how things are going. He likes to try to get to events when he can. And he really is very supportive of trying to get more of the film industry in town. He understands that that it's not a thing where these filmmakers need us and need our cheap city. They don't. they can get their budget and they could go to any number of cities, and a lot of cities have film incentives and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But what they need is they need to know that when they get to a city, they'll have access, they'll have people that are there to help, they'll have infrastructure and things like that. So it is really helpful that we have a mayor that's active and understands if a movie set comes to town, they bring
Money.
and when they come to town and they bring a lot of cast and crew, not as many locals get hired in big positions, but guess what? They bring people from out of town to stay in our hotels, and they have to get their food here. They have to buy their dinners here. They have to stop at get their local drinks at bars here. They got to stop and get their smokes here. They got to stop and get this and that. And the other thing, their tax dollars are pumped into us. We'll have three movies running in town at once, and we'll have 400, 500 people here that are from out of town that they're all spending their money constantly, and they have per diem. They have per diem. So when you have per diem, it's not the same as when it's your money out of your pocket. Oh, how much should I spend? Per diem, boom, give me that burger, give me that drink, give me that, you know what I mean? So they're spending money.
It's
money
really
comes
funny
in.
because you do. I know for a fact because I've listened to Sherry tell me before, and I've listened to other actors say it, that they've gotten. They may not be, like, how do I put this? They may not be big parts of the movie, but their background, they're doing something with the movie, and it's like you don't get that very often in a lot of places.
You don't.
Like, for example, some of the independent films I've seen recently have been, they shot them, and then you don't see very much of the background. You only see main characters.
Yeah.
It's there's guys that come to Buffalo Fantastic Film Festival from Toronto, from down towards Rochester and all this stuff, and you listen to what they say of how they were welcomed into the area, how the filming's the best. And I have to say this, and it was a great loss. We lost Bill Brown over in between the two film festivals.
I've had to do a lot of sharing because of the humbug thing, and I've been really sharing it a lot. And every time I share, there's Bill Brown, his two accounts sitting there, and I have to it's so weird because there's never a share up until he passed away where Bill Brown wasn't one of the first people I shared to. And now you kind of hover over his name, and you have to remember that's right, he's gone, and you have to keep going. Because you don't want to just blindly tag him in it, and then it pops up, and his grandson sees it and goes, "Oh yeah, there's John." It reminds you know what I mean. It's God.
I didn't even know that he had a grandson.
Yeah,
honestly, because
I've known him for quite some time. Because I've known him for a long time. We've worked together.
Yeah, not this film festival, but the film festival before. He did a movie with Keith. I guess it's Keith Lewandowski or something like that.
Keith Lukowski.
Yeah, he did a movie with him and
Keith.
another individual that I know his name, but I can't get it off the top of my head right now.
Jeez, of course I'm blanking too. Is it Larry, his partner?
Yeah, Larry.
Yeah.
And they did, and I sat through the movie, and I watched it, and I was confused as all hell. Because if you got to catch the movie, you see it one way, and then at the end it's like total plot twist, and you don't know who you're still dealing with. It's like, okay, I'll put a big game out there. The new Poltergeist movie, that just came out. You have to watch that from the beginning. You have to remember certain factors from the beginning when you get to the end. Like, say, for example, now you're in trouble. The boss lady's coming up.
Oh, that's my mom. Hey, Mom.
Like I said, the boss lady. But you know what I'm saying is, like, for example, with that, you have to remember that the mother of the one girl something happened with her in the beginning of the movie that goes through. And then it has a big determination at the end of the movie.
Yeah, and I love stuff like that where you have to kind of follow the story and remember plot points and things. I'm a big detective story fan too, big time. Like right now, in fact, I'm watching the new season of Fargo. I'm trying to sneak in as much as I can. I really like the Fargo seasons. Like each season's completely different than the other seasons, but they're all have the same feel. I love them. So I've been like that's my newest thing is trying to piece together exactly where all the puzzle pieces come and see if I could figure it out before the end if I'm right.
It's really funny because my roommate watches Monk.
Oh yeah?
Used to watch Monk when it was on, and you're sitting there and you're watching him, and I have to admit sometimes I watch him and he aggravates the living crap out of me because of his kinks. Let's just put it that way. And then I'm looking at it, and I've watched a lot of different shows with her, and some of these ghost shows that I've watched, some of these other things, I'm looking at it and I'm going, wait, that and that and that adds up to this, and it's like, why are they crossing so many times? But then you're also you get the independent films. For example, like, for lack of better terms, the Killer Rack movie, which totally just, I watched it and it threw my mind for a loop because I was like, what the hell?
It was so funny and such a weird movie, Killer Rack. Like that was another one that my crazy hairstyle from Dick and Tommy Gun messed up. I was supposed to have a better role. That's 2 roles in those films that I wound up having smaller cameo roles because at the time I had a forced mullet, which was my hair was really long in the back, but I was bald at the top. And I had this huge soup strainer mustache. I mean, this big mustache. I looked like a madman. I went to Wegmans, and a little girl bumped into me and said, sorry. And I turned around and said, that's okay, sweetheart. And the mom looked at me and put the daughter behind her back and like gave me a weird look and like walked away. And I was like, what the hell was that about? And then I kind of turned to the side and looked, and I saw my reflection in like the glass case with the milk. And I was wearing like summer shorts and like a little sleeveless shirt, But then my head, I had this like insane haircut. Like it looked like Mel Gibson from Lethal Weapon let himself go, right? and my beard was growing out and everything was all messed up. My mullet was like standing straight up and back. And it was like a drug addict's like wake up call. You know what I mean? I saw myself and I was like, I got to wrap this up. I look like a maniac. And that was like, that was when I finally cut my hair off and shaved my face and stuff and said, you know what, we're good on the movie. I'm done. I scared a mother and small child with my look. So yeah.
And you get that. Not, it's like you don't forget that you're in makeup, or you don't forget you're like, for when I was doing zombie stuff, I would go into like Walmart, Tops,
I got a
McDonald's, and stuff like that in full zombie paraphernalia. At a time I was wearing a Terror Tech, those little plastic bracelets he had.
Yeah.
I was wearing one of that, and I was in the Young Street McDonald's, and a little girl was like, hi, and everything, and I'm like, here you go. I just took the bracelet off and I gave it to her, and she's looking at me going, I go in there, and you get the guys that do theft control, following you around the store, and it's like, you want to turn around and go, can I help you?
Yeah, it's like, I'm not here to rob the place. This would be a funny outfit if I were,
Yeah, it's like really easy to identify.
I have a situation I could tell real quick. I was working at the Final Fear, which was the Hamburg Fairgrounds haunted house after Scare at the Fair stopped operating. They became that entity, and I was making this haunt called the Slaughterhouse. It was white walls, and it was supposed to be blood splattered everywhere. So I had a squirrel mixer, which is like on a drill, one of those big mixers that and I had a big thing full of silicone blood that I made, and I was going like this and going boom, and blood would fly everywhere, and it would cover the walls and the ceiling, and then it dries into a rubber, so it still looks like wet blood, but if you touch it, your clothes don't get messy, So we did that over and over and over and over again, and at the end of the night, I got out to the car, put all the stuff away, at that point, I was still a smoker. So on my way home, I stopped by 7-Eleven. I got some chili cheese nachos and a pack of smokes and a scratch-off ticket or two, and I sat in my car, and I was eating chili nachos and scratching tickets. And then I got a flashlight in my face and someone screaming at me, "Let me see your hands, let me see your hands, don't move, let me see your hands." And I'm like, the heck? It just happened so suddenly, and then my eyes kind of adjusted to the light, and there's a gun right here. Whoa, 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 whoa. And when I did that, I saw the backs of my hands. I had blood. And I looked in the mirror, blood. I'm completely covered all over myself, my whole body, my clothes, everything in blood. Like, I look like I killed everyone. Like, I'm covered in blood, right? I go, no, effects artist, haunted house, effects artist. And the cop said, "Oh, my God, you scared the shit out of me." And I was like, you're scared, you know? So it turns out the cop came in, walked into the 7-Eleven, got some donuts, coffee, newspaper, and the guy said, "Hey, I think that guy killed someone out there." And the cop's like, "Oh, yeah?" And when he turned his head, I'm sitting in the car eating nachos and scratching a ticket covered in blood. The guy goes, "Holy shit!" And he goes outside thinking he's stopping Jeffrey Dahmer.
You know, it's like I did that for, you know, there's that, I don't know if anybody's ever seen it, but there's that famous picture of Greg, I think it's Greg Mells and somebody else when they got stopped going through a toll booth, or I think it was like they got stopped going through a toll booth, and they were in full zombie regalia, and you could see the picture of them standing there like this, like they were all being handcuffed. But there's been times, like, you know, I have to admit I can understand a lot of things. I've seen people look at me strange when I walk into a store because I have I have this full beard, and usually.
I get it sometimes too.
You know, and usually I'm sitting there, I got the full beard, and for a while I had a hoodie that when I put the hood up, it came to like right here. So all you saw was like
the shadowy eyes and the beard.
The hoodie over there, and you saw the beard, and people are like, "Oh, we got a Unabomber." I'm like, okay.
You're like, "Listen, that's not me. That's not me, baby."
But we're down to like the last 7 minutes, so
Ooh. Time flies.
Yeah, time flies when you're having fun.
I should probably mention real quick while I have you guys on here, my day job actually. I work with Don Hoffman and Rick Balicki and Joseph Giambra and Brian Dickman and Lori Hoffman over at Airport Plaza Jewelers. And I help them make their commercials and things like that. I've been working there for just about a year now, and it's been a ton of fun. And right now we're doing this thing where we're giving away, if you go to the store and fill out a card, or you go online and fill out a card, we're doing a $100,000 giveaway until December 23rd, I think it is. And we're just giving away jewelry. Just stop in and fill out a card. And these guys, you'd love them. Super fun. They are... You know how goofy and zany they are? That's them. The commercials we grew up with, that's literally them. Nicest guys you ever met. They're super cool. And that's one way to visit me is that. And on Thursdays we do a live stream and stuff. We'll be starting back up in January. So yeah, Airport Plaza Jewelers is a place where you can kind of come by and visit me. You might find me in there, and you can look at some jewelry while you're in there.
We got, like I said, we got like 6 minutes left, so I was going to wrap this up with the same spiel I give everybody.
Sure.
You're more than welcome to come back anytime you want. You got another movie you want to talk about? Well,
for sure,
you're more than open. And like I tell everybody, since I got like 6 minutes, but I said, I want to thank you for coming on. I kind of blew this on you out of nowhere.
Oh, for
I
sure,
did
yeah.
see. Because the reason, like I told you, the reason that I asked you to come on is so you can promote your movie, because you were saying you don't get a lot of you're not getting a lot of local.
Yeah, I haven't really got much local press. I was I was pretty surprised, actually. I figured somebody would have picked up on press releases and seen some of the stuff happening locally. There was a lot of other local stuff going on. I get it, but you'd think there'd be a little bit more local love for somebody who's putting together a feature film on a zero budget, just basically out of sheer will and determination alone. You would think that would.
But it's like I wanted
get
to
more
make
press.
sure. I wanted to make sure you got your time on camera. And like I said before, if
I
you're
appreciate it too. And anytime you need me to come on, I'll come on anytime.
You're
too.
more than welcome to come on for talk about anything. If you got another show, if you got you want to come on and shoot the breeze, I'm fine with that. But again, I want to thank you for coming on. I want to thank my viewers, the people that did comment, and I want to say hi to your mom.
Hi, Mom.
But everybody, I'm going to say this the straight way. Be safe, be strong, and see ya.